The original coffee competition, which was called the Great Cappuccino Hunt, was first published in the Sunday Tribune about 25 years ago. The competition was inspired by a conversation between myself and Ralph Bronson, who was the proprietor of the Arts Cafe in the KZNSA Gallery in Glenwood. He back then was complaining about poor standards in coffee shops, and also that people were not educated about what they should be drinking in professional coffee shops. So the Great Cappuccino Hunt was born and continued for about 17 years. And in that time, I like to think that the competition did exactly what we intended it to do, which was to promote coffee drinking, educate the public, raise standards, and celebrate the spirit of Cafe Society. Cafe Society reflects the soul of coffee shops, and that is that they are community spaces where people can socialize, work, and relax. Fast forward to 2024, and Coffee Society, coffee culture has thrived and especially survived during COVID. I mean, if you think about coffee shops, there are these communal spaces that became absolutely vital during COVID, where people could work and people could socialize if they were, they found home life was too lonely. So this time around, this new coffee shop is less about educating the public, because they are much more familiar and aware of what they should be getting in coffee shops, but it's more about celebrating Cafe Society and the spirit. So also the competition is about, again, recognizing the role that the barista plays in good coffee. Okay. So there we are, celebrating Cafe Society, which is great, but there's more to it. This competition is also about publishing an online guide to coffee drinking. And by this, we hope that you coffee lovers will expand your horizons, get out of your comfort zone, and go check out those coffee shops that are all around KZN, are doing exactly what they mean to do, providing good coffee and good communal spaces. So this is our gift to you. Now, this is Pauline. Pauline was one of my original judges. She's worked in the entire life in the coffee industry. She's trained baristas. She worked for Saro. I can't think of anyone better qualified to tell us what we should be looking for. This is Pauline.
Thank you, Ingrid. Hello, everybody. I'm going to go over what you need to look for in an espresso, a cappuccino, and a barista. So we need to all be on the same page, and we all need to be looking for the same thing. So I don't know whether any of you here actually understand what an espresso is. So a lot of us might think, oh, it's like a very strong cup of coffee, it's going to keep me awake at night, but it isn't. Okay, so if we're going to have a bad espresso, probably more likely your cappuccino is also not going to be so great. So let's go through what an espresso is. An espresso is a 25 to 35 ml of extracted coffee, which is coming through an espresso machine at 9 bars of pressure. So you are getting the most beautiful flavors, and it should be balanced. So there's going to be sweetness, bitterness, acidity. All of that should be in your espresso with a full mouth feel. And on top of the espresso should be this beautiful crema, which has got tiger stripes in it. Okay, so you've got the light brown and the dark brown coming through in your crema. If it hasn't got that, it's too thin. If you don't find some espressos don't have a crema, okay, it's a bad espresso. And again, you need to then taste the espresso. What is the flavor of it? So you'll see that on your judges' questions that they're actually going to be asking you, is there a crema? So you need to make sure there is a crema. What is there on the crema? Then you're going to taste it and you're going to say, is there sweetness or is it bitter? And then at the end, I'll go through maybe what could be the problem if you do have a bad espresso. But again, it's really just to understand that maybe the barista is not qualified, or there's maybe waiters making the coffee as well, so you don't have a specific designated barista that has been trained, because those are all troubleshooting. Could be the water. Okay, we know that we've all got problems in South Africa with water. All our coffee machines should be filtered, have a water filter on it. So that's all going to go into your espresso. So does everybody understand what we're going to be looking for? Okay, the extraction time of an espresso should be between 23 and 28 seconds or 25 and 30 seconds, but as long as there's a variance, and it should be under 30 seconds. If it's over 30 seconds, it's going to be over-extracted, which means it's going to be a little bit maybe burnt or bitter. If it's under that time, it's going to be sour. Now, there's a difference between sour and acidic. When you drink a glass of lemon juice, it's sour. When you taste a piece of lemon, it's acidic, but it lingers with the sweetness. So there's a difference. Okay, so you need to sort of just understand what the acidic is. So if the espresso is harsh, it's bad. If you get a dryness in your mouth, it's not a good espresso. Cup size, small one. That is an espresso cup.
But it's not full.
No, so it's going to go, a double shot will be 60 mils and a single will be 30 mils. Okay, so if you're going to ask for a single espresso, you're going to get a small little 30 mil and you're going to see the crema and that on that, okay? And again, we're going to go to what a barista is, and the barista is also maybe when attention to detail. Are they going to give you a glass of water? It's all those things that you need to sit and think, okay, fine, is it a barista that is actually understanding what an espresso is? Okay, because coffee is a diuretic and it makes you dehydrate. So all those are the things that we now need to see attention to barista, but there is a section that we'll get to on the barista. Now we're going to go on to the cappuccino. So we've got a nice good espresso. We know we've tasted our espresso. Now we're going to go on and we're going to get the cappuccino. The cappuccino now is going to be your espresso with micro-textured full cream milk. So a true cappuccino is full cream. A cappuccino is a breakfast coffee. In Italy, it is only served in the morning. It isn't served in the afternoons. Why? The reason being is that espresso will go through your system in an hour. A cappuccino, the milk, the fat in the milk, will keep the caffeine in your system for longer. So we all have a cappuccino at night thinking that the milk's going to put us to sleep, and it's not true. Okay. So let's just remember what a cappuccino is. It's sweet. Why? Milk's sweet. If you're going to boil milk, you're going to turn it to savory. So you're going to get the savory taste. The sugar's going to come out of it. So when we make a cappuccino, the correct temperature of a cappuccino is 65 degrees to 70. It's not boiling hot. Now, we as South Africans like to have our coffees very hot. Okay, we are changing, but remember, you're not going to get the flavor of your beautiful espresso with the sweetness of your milk coming through if you have it too hot. Sometimes then your foam will be a bit thin. The milk foam should also be, when you're going to get the sweetness, will only be able to be foamed once. for a cappuccino. It should not be foamed a second time. Why? Because you are reheating the milk. Okay, so that's why we've got to be very careful. So this is all going to come into the taste of your cappuccino. When we look at the cappuccino, we get it, the barista brings us the cappuccino. Now we're going to look at the visual. Okay, we all love latte art. What do we look for in latte art? We all like to see our beautiful tulips, and we like to see all these fancy things, or when they're doing the etching, that they're going to make a nice teddy bear face, or some of the baristas go and do your names on them. And it's all of that we like to look at, because why? It makes us feel special as a customer, which all goes down to part of being a barista. So these are all the things that you as a judge need to start judging on when you're getting your coffees served to you. So that is the visual. But again, now we're going to go a true latte art without the etching. Etching is when the baristas will draw, and they will make your teddy bears, or they'll make your name and that. But a true latte art is when they're going to pull the rosetta, they're going to pull the heart, they're going to make all these lovely patterns, and it's free pour. So they're doing it with the milk. The milk has to be a certain texture to be able to do that. There needs to be the contrast between the brown and the white. If it's mostly full white and there's too much white and it's not symmetric, you need to look at that as a judge and say, okay, maybe not as high as somebody that's doing it symmetric with the brown ring around. Okay, so all these things are going to come into the visual. Then you're going to get your spoon and you're going to push back the foam. Is it silky? Is it velvety? Does it look like velvet, like paint, white paint? It's got to be also thick. What is a cappuccino? 1/3 espresso, 1/3 milk, 1/3 foam. Is there enough foam on that? Okay, we're not serving a flat white. We're not serving a latte. We are looking for a cappuccino. So we need to make sure that there is enough foam. The foam is dense enough. So I'm going to just touch a little bit on what the barista is, because there is a section on the barista. And obviously all this comes into your barista, because a barista is a skill. It is somebody that is skilled, and they are specializing in coffee and the skill of making specialty coffee. So there will be attention to detail. They will be putting on the spoons on your saucer, cup and saucer, how they serve it. And each coffee shop is different, so they're going to be bringing in what their signature is. A lot of them will serve like biscuits and that there as well. And so that's where you will judge a barista skill. Okay, if you're getting a good espresso, a good cappuccino, the barista is probably being trained. A barista will always wear an apron. They'll always wear closed shoes. They will always make sure that their hair is coming off their faces and that. So that is all part of hygiene, because coffee is a food. So we need to check that when we're also going into the store, and then also to see whether your baristas are friendly. They understand what coffee they're using, understanding what the beverages are that they're serving. They know the coffee menu.